This is one of the biggest hype products that I've seen come out in the last couple years, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. What is up guys, Chris here, welcome back. This product was so hyped that it took me a couple of months to get my hands on it as it was sold out everywhere that I tried to get it. But I finally got it and I've been using it for the last month, and I even brought it with me across the beautiful country of Canada to shoot with it for the holidays. My biggest question when I got this thing was, who is it for and what device or camera, if any, does it replace? These are some of the questions that I'm going to answer in this video, but first, check out some of the footage that this bad boy can capture. Now, what you get with the Pocket 3 is a 1-inch sensor that shoots in 10-bit 4K up to 60 frames a second, which is pretty impressive, I thought, for a camera at this price point. I got the Creator Combo, which comes with a tripod stand, a battery extender, a carrying case, a wide-angle lens, and the wireless DJI microphone. In Canada, the Creator Combo goes for $900, so in US dollars, that's around $670. The 1-inch sensor means that you get a really nice overall image, and its performance in low light is actually pretty good, which is something that typically GoPros and smartphones don't do too well with. Now, why am I bringing up GoPros and smartphones? Well, initially when I saw the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, I thought to myself, why would I need this if I already have a GoPro, a smartphone, and an actual mirrorless camera? Well, let's compare the image quality of a couple of these devices. I'm going to also show the Sony a7 IV as a reference, but I know it's obviously not a fair comparison, as this is a nearly $4,000 camera setup versus a sub 1K camera. That being said, I was actually surprised at some of these clips and how well the Osmo Pocket 3 did against even the Sony. Let's first do a nighttime shot so you can see what the low light capabilities are of the Osmo Pocket 3. This is where the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 has a pretty big advantage over a GoPro because of the bigger sensor. Because of the bigger sensor size, you're just able to capture more light and therefore you get a less noisy image than the GoPro or the smartphone. Now, I know I'm not using the latest GoPro, this is the Hero 11, and I'm not using the latest iPhone, I'm shooting with the iPhone 14. But I do think this comparison is still valid, as it's pretty unlikely that you have all of the brand new devices and are now thinking of getting the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. And if you are, then great, you can go do the comparison and let me know what you find. The second comparison I did was during the day, but with no person in the frame. Personally, I think this is where it's a little bit harder to tell, especially if you're viewing on a smartphone or if you don't have a keen eye. I personally think the GoPro and the iPhone footage looks pretty bad. The GoPro especially looks super noisy and they both look way over sharpened. That being said, I showed these clips to my wife and she actually thought that the iPhone and the DJI clips looked the best out of all of them. So I should just sell my camera, I think. I don't even need it anymore. The Pocket 3 actually looks quite good, and I was really surprised with how good the image quality is for a camera of this size. And it gets even more evident when there's a person in the frame. It's really, really good. I'll show you a comparison of a vlog type shot so you can see what it would look like to vlog with each of these. One thing that's going to be quite clear here is the stabilization. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 has a mechanical stabilizer or a gimbal attached to it, whereas the GoPro and the iPhone use software to stabilize the image. The Sony has some in-camera stabilization, but it's not a lot, so without using a gimbal or without using software to stabilize your image, the footage is going to look really wobbly. Here's just a basic vlogging shot walking normally. And here is a running shot just to really showcase the stabilization capabilities. Again, when it comes to image quality, I think that the Sony and the DJI are clearly the best. The GoPro and the iPhone look way too over-sharpened and the colors just look bad. However, when it comes to stabilization, the GoPro and the iPhone footage probably looks the most stabilized. And that's because the Pocket 3 doesn't have Z-axis stabilization, so you still get that up and down wobble even with the gimbal. Personally, I think it's totally fine to have a little bit of up and down movement. If you wanted to get a really smooth, crisp gimbal shot, then you would just have to use standard gimbal techniques to get that ultra smooth shot. Getting back to some of the other noteworthy features of the Pocket 3. One thing that you can do, which is pretty cool, is a mode called Product Showcase. Normally, you would have your camera in continuous focus and it would prioritize focusing on your face. But if you have it in Product Showcase mode, what it'll do is it'll focus on whatever's closest to the camera, which is great for, well, showcasing products. Another pretty sick feature that you'll be used to if you've used a DJI drone before is active tracking. If you double tap on a subject on the screen, the camera will now move to ensure that the subject is centered in the frame. Super convenient for vlogging, as you never have to worry about if you're in the frame or not, or if you just want to put the camera down and have it track you. You can shoot in D-Log as well, which is pretty awesome if you like color grading. Normal color mode looks fine, but if you want to just push the colors and push the image that much further in your software, then you can do that shooting in log. In terms of the physical build quality and the characteristics of the Pocket 3, it really is pocket size when you don't have any of the attachments on it. You can snap on the tripod attachment, which has a 1/4-20 on it, or you can snap on the battery extender, which gives you more battery life. I haven't done an actual battery life test on this thing, but I was shooting with it for over a week in Ontario and I only needed to charge it once. So I think that if you're using it just for regular use, the battery is going to be perfectly fine. And of course, you have the flippy screen. This is one aspect of the Pocket 3 that concerns me, which I'll get to a little bit later when I talk about my dislikes and concerns, as I have heard of cases where this thing can fail, but I do like a good flippy screen. When it comes to ease of use, the Pocket 3 is super intuitive. It's really easy to change the frame rate and the resolution, and if you want to change things like the exposure or the color mode, they're just a swipe away. Once you lock in your settings, you can also save them as presets for quick access later, which is something that I've been utilizing quite a bit to save time if I just want to pull out the Pocket 3 and start shooting. The built-in lens is a 20mm lens, but with the creator kit you also get the wide-angle 15mm lens that snaps on magnetically, which is pretty convenient, although when it is snapped on, the camera can't tuck away when you turn it off, which I think is a little bit of a miss in terms of the design. You can't stack an ND filter on top of the wide-angle lens, so really you can't shoot outside during the day with the wide-angle lens if you want to be shooting with the correct shutter speed. Getting into the audio quality, the DJI Pocket 3 has front, rear, and side built-in microphones, which I think sound okay. However, if you get the creator kit, it also comes with the DJI wireless mic, which automatically pairs with the Osmo Pocket 3 when you turn it on. This is what the audio sounds like straight out of the DJI Pocket 3 with no microphone attached to it. And this is the audio from the DJI wireless microphone attached to the Osmo Pocket 3. I think the audio from the wireless mic sounds great and it's perfect for on-the-go vlogging. The built-in mics could work in a pinch, but the wireless mic obviously sounds way better. Now, I've loved using the DJI Pocket 3, but there are a few things that I don't like about it. I've touched on a few of them earlier, but the fact that you can't stack an ND filter on top of the wide-angle lens is kind of a miss in my opinion. I'm sure there must be a way to design a wide-angle lens that's magnetic on the top and allows you to snap an ND filter on top of it, or just have some sort of wide-angle ND combo lens. I'm sure something will come out in the future, but it's kind of annoying that right now you can't use an ND filter and a wide-angle lens. I also talked about this earlier, but I am concerned that the flippy screen could be a potential point of failure for the Osmo Pocket 3. That being said, I did purchase the extended warranty through DJI just in case something happened to it, so I feel a little bit better knowing that I'll be covered if something does happen. Speaking of the flippy screen, something that is a little bit of a bummer is the vertical shooting mode. When I first saw the Osmo Pocket 3, they really advertised the fact that it shot in vertical mode. While it does shoot in vertical mode, it doesn't actually rotate the camera like it does on the DJI drones. So even though it does shoot in vertical mode, you're essentially just taking the horizontal picture and cropping it to make it vertical. I'm sure some people appreciate this feature and don't have to go into their software and crop it themselves, but personally, I'm never going to use this mode. Something else missing with the Pocket 3 that I think it needs is Gamma Display Assist. When you're shooting in a log profile, the image on the back of your screen is really flat and just shitty to look at. Now with a lot of mirrorless cameras like my Sony camera, there's a feature called Gamma Display Assist, which essentially allows you to see the normal looking image on the back of your screen, but it still records the image in log. This just makes for a way better shooting experience, as you can actually see on the back of your screen what your image is going to look like instead of looking at a flat log profile. I'm pretty confident that this is something that they could add in the software, so DJI, if you're watching this, please add Gamma Display Assist. Aside from some of these relatively small issues, I've been really happy with the Osmo and it's been really fun to use. But back to the question that I asked at the beginning of this video, who is it for and what does it replace? Short answer, it depends. If you're looking for your first camera and you're looking to shoot both photo and video, this is not the device that I would recommend, simply because the lens is fixed. A big part of getting into photography and filmmaking is experimenting with different focal length and lenses, and well, this camera just doesn't allow you to do that. It does take photos, but that's just not where this camera shines. It's also not a replacement for an action camera like a GoPro. It's not rugged and weatherproof like a GoPro, so don't expect to take it underwater with you or to take it snowboarding. Where I do think this thing has a really nice place is as a vlogging camera or a B camera. I've tried vlogging with my Sony a7 IV, but because of the size, I've never really felt too comfortable vlogging with it in public. Because of this, I've resorted to using a GoPro or my phone to vlog a lot of the time, and as you guys can see, the Pocket 3's shots are just much better. The Pocket 3 is also just small and compact, and it doesn't feel weird to be vlogging with it out in public. And because of features like the wireless microphone and the active track, you can kind of just open it up and vlog and not really have to worry about audio or framing or anything, and you can be pretty certain that you're going to get a pretty good shot. I also see this as a good way to get another camera angle or to get B-roll of things like my camera itself, which I obviously can't get with my camera. You absolutely could use the Pocket 3 as an A-roll camera for YouTube videos. The quality is perfectly adequate for YouTube, but as I already have a pretty nice mirrorless camera, that's not where I'm gonna find this thing the most useful. If you guys want to see more content with the Pocket 3, let me know down in the comments below. I'm down to shoot a lot more with this thing as it's a lot of fun to use. Generally, I don't really believe the gear hype, but I think when it comes to the Pocket 3, this thing really did live up to the hype. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did and you want to keep seeing stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on my next videos. I'll see you guys in the next one.